Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Lukenessmonster, and this is Ask Lukenessmonster episode 98, the series on the channel where I answer your guys' questions from the comments down below. So if you guys do want your questions answered in the next episode, make sure to comment down below in this episode, and I'll try my very best to answer it. Like always, make sure you go down, hit that like button, and subscribe because it helps with the channel a lot more than you know, and it allows me to keep on making videos like this for you guys. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. The first question says, I know that we got some Ghost Crew in the Black Series for Ahsoka, but could we get more of the Ghost Crew figures in this year? 2024 marks the 10-year anniversary of Rebels, and there are some characters / redesigns that we need, like another Zeb or a blind Kanan. Great question. I really hope so. I think that the Rebels characters that we got this year are some of the best figures that we've gotten in the line. That Sabine, that Ezra, that Hera are all amazing figures. The Chopper re-release, they're great figures, and I would really love to see what they could do. I would love to see them revisit a Kanan, make a blind Kanan, even a brand new Zeb, which that Zeb figure is pretty amazing, but you know, it came out in what, 2020, so it is a little bit outdated now, and I could definitely see some improvements going on there. 2024 is the 10-year anniversary of Rebels, so I'm hoping they do something for that, and I think blind Kanan would be the most realistic answer, but I could also see something like a Agent Callus. I don't know, I'd love to see what they could do. The next question from Fernando, he asks, do you think we will see more Phase 1 clones? Absolutely, there's already one Phase 1 clone pipelined coming in 2024, and that is, of course, the A-list version. It's just a plain white one on that new 2023 mold. And we also did just get the Phase 1 Lieutenant / 501st, whatever you want to call him, in that Ahsoka 2-pack. And so they've been pushing out Phase 1 clones here, and with it being the 25th anniversary of Phantom Menace, Hasbro is kind of doing a prequel celebration, so I definitely see them doing some more Phase 1 clones here just to celebrate Episode 2, and yeah, so I think we're going to be getting more Phase 2 clones. The next question says, do you think we will ever get a Waxer and Boyle figure? And also, have you ever read the Darth Plagueis novel? I have not read the Darth Plagueis novel. I've heard it's really good, though. I've added it to my list, so hopefully I get around to it sometime. But as far as a Waxer and Boyle figure goes, I think it's inevitable at some point. I can't say it's going to be this year or next year. I don't really know when, but with the brand new Clones of the Republic line, it makes perfect sense that they can throw it in that line, or even the Clone Wars line. There's tons of opportunities to release these figures now, and, you know, the longer Hasbro goes, the less options of figures they have to release. So I think at some point they're going to release them. It's just going to be a matter of time. Straight Out of Gunga asks, if you had the chance to design the next archive wave, including 6 figures, what would your picks be? Has to be existing figures with only minor improvements such as photoreal. Great question. I'm going to do 4 figures just because that is a typical archive wave, is 4 figures. And my 4 figures would be 1, a Captain Rex, for given reasons. I mean, it's pretty obvious. He's a super expensive figure on the aftermarket. He's also the best Black Series figure ever made. And so because of that, I think everybody should have a chance to get him who doesn't have him yet. He's a super popular character. Bring back Captain Rex. Up after that would actually end up being a Hunter from the Bad Batch. The original Season 1 figure is pretty dang expensive on the aftermarket. He doesn't need any upgrades at all, but he was just pretty decently hard to get, and anybody who passed up on him, it's going to be pretty expensive to get that original Season 1 figure, so I'm going to give it to Season 1 Hunter. Number 3, I'm going to give it to Slave Leia. This is a figure that needs a brand new sculpt head to toe, but if anything, a photoreal update would be nice. And again, she's also like an $80 to $90 figure on the aftermarket, so yeah, she needs a re-release regardless, but a photoreal update would be amazing. And then I think my last pick, I'm going to give it to Director Krennic from Rogue One. I think he's a super cool character, and he was really the only Rogue One figure that we got that didn't get a photoreal update with the rest of the photoreal re-releases, and because of that, I think he deserves one. Put him in the archive packaging, put him in the Rogue One packaging for all I care. I don't really care, but he does desperately need a re-release with that photoreal update. Next up, from Phantom Menace Dennis, he asks, have you ever or do you currently play a musical instrument, and do you know any Star Wars tunes? Great question. Yes, I actually currently play the trumpet in college marching band. I've definitely played a few Star Wars tunes, you know, Duel of Fates, Imperial March, Cantina Band, you know, kind of that kind of stuff, basic Star Wars songs. I'd like to learn more, though, and I can read sheet music, so pretty much anything that's not super high and out of my range I can play. The next question says, do you think or want Hasbro to ever make animal figurines like Rancor or the monsters in the Geonosian Coliseum? And what animals/monsters would you like to see be made? Great question, and obviously yes. I think world building and animals and vehicles are some of the best things in the Black Series, and I really wish they would do more of it, and they don't seem to do it as much as I would like. I think one of the ones that we've gotten already is the Tauntaun, and this is one that I really hope they remake. It was made back in like 2015. The sculpt's kind of not great, and so I'd love to see them make a brand new one, and hopefully it has all the modern paint and articulation. That would be an incredible figure. But obviously all of the Geonosian Arena ones I would take. There's a ton of prequel animals I would take. I know a big one for me is the Blurg. I would really want to see a Blurg in the Black Series. The next question says, when do you think AliExpress will start using the new clone body? I love what they've been doing, just not a big fan of that 2020 clone body. Great question. I don't know that they ever will. I think it would be smart for them to, but they already have an existing clone body that they can easily repaint 150 million times, so I don't see any reason for them to upgrade it. It just would cost them more to make that new mold, and they're selling the ones they've got, so I wouldn't see any reason for them to do that. The next question says, 2 questions. Do you think they would make a 4-pack of Rancor Battalion or sell them separately? And do you think if they do a re-release of Captain Rex, would they do it on an old body or put him on a new mold? Great question. I think they would probably do Rancor Battalion separately. It'd be cool to get them all together, but I think separately would be smarter for them to actually sell them. And as far as a re-release of Captain Rex, if it's a straight re-release, obviously it's going to be on that old body. But I do think we're going to be getting a new one on that new mold based off of Ahsoka. Fingers crossed. We'll have to wait and see. Don't take my word for it. But I do think that we might see some kind of new mold for Captain Rex in the future. Hopefully. The next question from Phase 2 Action Review, he asks, what is a Hassab you'd like to see but would also be a curveball to see? 100% I would have to give it to the AAT. This is one that I don't see them doing. It's a little bit of a curveball. I just don't see it as a realistic HasLab for some reason. I think it's a perfect size and it would be a perfect price. It's the perfect scale and it would come with perfect accessories and perfect figures. But for some reason, I see it as a curveball. But I think that would be an amazing choice for a HasLab, and I would easily buy one because it's awesome and I think it would sell very well. The next question says, is it true that this year will be more prequel focused? Yes, 100%. Because of the 25th anniversary of Phantom Menace, Hasbro and the designers have already announced that 2024 will be heavily prequel focused and we'll have some sort of like a prequel celebration mini beat. So yeah, expect a lot of prequel figures this year. Excited, they've already announced a lot and there's a lot more to come. The next question says, how often do you buy figures on the aftermarket? If so, what is your most frequent used platform? Great question. I don't buy a lot of stuff on the aftermarket. I mostly buy stuff retail when I can, but my best spot for aftermarket pickups have been like comic book shops that have older figures and older stock. That has been my #1 place to find stuff. But for online websites, 100% has to be eBay. Facebook Marketplace is okay, but for it to be good, like a lot of people don't do shipping. You have to be in a certain area to pick stuff up. But no, eBay would be the best spot. They have PayPal buyer's protection as well. So yeah, I'd go eBay. And then the last question for today, chances we'll get a Revenge of the Sith Yoda this year or next. I think there's a pretty high chance we'll get one this year or next. This year they're doing, like I said earlier, that prequel celebration, so we're already getting that Revenge of the Sith Sidious from that Vader, or from that Sidious Yoda duel, and so it makes sense if they're going to do Sidious, they would do Yoda. But even if they didn't do one in 2024, 25 is the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. And so because of that, I think we could easily see some Revenge of the Sith anniversary figures like a prequel Yoda. So if it's not this year, I think it's definitely going to be next year. Anyway, guys, that was actually our last question for today. There was a ton of questions on this video that I really wanted to answer, and I just unfortunately couldn't get around to. So if you do want to guarantee your question will get answered, consider going down and hitting that join button down below and becoming a channel member. Channel members do get priority replies to questions on Ask Lukenessmonster, as well as these super cool Clone Trooper name badges that get cooler the longer you're a member, as well as these exclusive Lukenessmonster emojis. Consider going down and hitting that join button, helps out the channel a lot, but by no means is required. It's just a good way of going above and beyond to support the channel. Anyway, y'all, that's going to do it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.